So anyway, the world's still here. We've avoided war for at least another week. Hello and welcome to Everything's Fine Probably, your weekly antidote to bad news. The show that believes the world is still worth living in, even if the news often feels like a drunk man shouting at a bin. Now, as we closed out last week, we weren't sure if we'd be back this week or whether we'd all be either deeply embroiled in World War III or dead. We recorded on the evening when Donald Trump was threatening to bomb Iran back to the Stone Age. Since then, Trump has not bombed Iran back to the Stone Age. Instead, there's now what's being described as a fragile ceasefire. Fragile, like Trump's masculinity. Last week, we closed the show in a very mature, measured and diplomatic way by saying, fuck you, Donald Trump. And as always, we like to revisit our positions, reflect, ask, were we too harsh? Did we misjudge things? With a bit more context, might we feel a bit differently? I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't know. If anything, I thought it was a bit restrained, really. Because this week, Donald Trump has taken a brief pause from threatening global stability to post an image of himself as Jesus, the Son of God, the Prince of Peace, which is an interesting move for a man whose approach to conflict resolution is less about turning the other cheek and more about turning the key in the missile silo. I think we can all agree that's a bold reimagining of the New Testament. Understandably, it caused a bit of a backlash. Some people thought it was arrogant. Others thought it was offensive. Some others thought it was wildly inappropriate. So in response to that criticism, Trump has clarified that he thought the image showed him as a doctor. Now, I don't know what GP surgeries he's been going to. If your doctor walks in looking like that, you're not getting antibiotics, you're getting absolution. Take 2 of these and call me in the afterlife. It's quite something to post a picture of yourself as the literal embodiment of divinity and then try to walk it back by saying, no, I thought I was just a medical professional. It's like reversing a car and hitting something else. But that's where we are now. The same man who was days ago talking about sending a country back to the Stone Age is now explaining he can't tell the difference between Jesus Christ and a GP. Which does raise a couple of questions. I mean, first, what does Donald Trump think doctors actually look like? Because I've had a lot of appointments in my life, and not once has a GP entered the room glowing softly and radiating eternal salvation. And if he can't tell the difference between Jesus Christ and a GP, what exactly does he think he's looking at when someone hands him a briefing document? I mean, in a way, it's reassuring. It suggests that when he says things like we're loading up the ships, there's at least a small chance he thinks he's ordering a takeaway. We're still living in a position where global stability hinges on a man who posts like a teenager, governs like a grievance, and explains himself like someone who's just been caught doing something deeply stupid, but knows our opinion of him is so low anyway, it doesn't make any difference how completely insane whatever he says next is. That's why we do this show. Because if you don't laugh at this, you're left with the alternative, which is to sit quietly and accept that this is normal. And it isn't. It's just frequent. So let's get into it. I've got Gemma, Shelley and Stuart with me, and I think it's only fair to start with the most important question this week. If Donald Trump is Jesus, then where the hell is Judas when we need him?
I was going to say, did you not notice, though, the man he was healing? There's been talk of who he looked like.
Yeah, Jeffrey. Sir Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Sir Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's odd because I didn't think Donald really knew him.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. But
His wife never met him, and he doesn't know him.
It's a pivot, isn't it, away from the Iran war? So he went after the Pope as well, didn't he? And called him a loser.
And yeah, you're only the Pope.
He said
what does that mean?
He said the only reason you got that position was because of me, because they wanted to put a Pope in to go against me. So in his mind, Donald's mind, he thinks the whole world just revolves around him. But I think...
Sorry, Stu, I can just pick you up on that point there. In Donald's mind, he thinks. And
Mm.
that's the whole problem, mate. I don't think he does.
I think the most frightening bit about it is when he went on TV and said, why did the media come up with this fake news? I'm a doctor. I mean, that is just out and out gaslighting, isn't it? That is the behavior of an abusive partner, isn't it? That's not Jesus, that's a doctor. And then you start like questioning yourself, like, oh, is it? I thought it looked like Jesus. No, 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 no.
Did you
I mean, I
question
didn't.
yourself though, Stu?
No.
Because I didn't.
Well, I didn't. But is he that narcissistic? Yes,
Oh
probably.
yeah,
That arrogant
yeah.
that he feels he could go on TV and say, "You made this up. This is fake news, fake media. This is a doctor." As I just said to Jim before we came on, Shelley, I've got my friend's a doctor. I texted him this morning. I said, "Do you dress like that for work?" He's like, "No, we don't."
Do you have a healing light that comes out of your hand?
I mean, maybe in America they do. I don't know. I don't know.
I think he's pissed off, isn't he, with the memes that are coming out of Iran, those Lego memes. Have you seen
They're
those?
funny, aren't they? They
Oh,
are
what,
funny.
those videos?
Aren't they good? Aren't they good?
Mm,
Aren't they good?
I've completely missed this. Do I need to
Oh,
go?
check them out, Gemma. Yeah, they're well
I
worth
mean, they do work for the Iranian government.
Yeah, they do.
So, but I
Mm.
still think they're amazing.
Well, there was a company talking on the radio who actually makes them, and one of their clients is the Iranian government.
Mm.
And they're very good at it. It's good propaganda, isn't it? Because their main aim is to really piss off Donald Trump. I think it's working.
In the last couple of shows, we've talked a bit about Jesus. Obviously, today we've mentioned, well, not Jesus, but Trump as a doctor who looks suspiciously like Jesus, but definitely isn't, apparently. That has put me personally in the mood for some more religious news. So, Stu, tell us about how religion and tech have come together in a surprising way.
Yeah, I picked this up in the Independent this week about the divine is getting a digital upgrade. So the article goes on to say we are witnessing the birth of a faith tech boom from BuddhaBot Plus to AI avatars of Jesus. Have you come across BuddhaBot or AI?
I've not, but I wish I had. I just love saying it, I think. Buddha-bot.
Well, you can jump on a video call for $1.99 and have a little chat with BuddhaBot. It's $1.99 a minute. So, spiritual world has now been uploaded to the cloud, like everything else. What do you think about AI Jesus? Is that a bit, is that?
Well, hang on, it's $1.99 a minute.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh,
Is that a bit sacrilegious? Do we think AI Jesus, or is that just where we are now? So the question is, are our prayers now subject to a data privacy agreement? So if we look past the glitches and I did check one out earlier, unsynchronized lip movements, we see something profound. We are seeing the emergence of the ultimate positive life support tool. This is a mentor who has memorized every word of the King James Bible, the Sutton Pater, and 2,000 years of Catholic dogma. AI isn't just a search engine anymore. Goes on to say it's a scaffold for the soul. So Chris Breed, CEO of Just Like Me, he points out users are forming now genuine emotional attachments because these tools provide something humans often struggle to give, which is unfailing, non-judgmental presence. You take like a shut-in remote village or a teenager questioning their faith, they can now have a Zen teacher in their pocket. So you need to think of these bots like a lamp that lights the path. They don't replace God or the Buddha, but they help you navigate the terrain of your own consciousness by reflecting back the wisdom you are seeking. So one of the most surprising findings they found in this new frontier is people feel now accountable to their AI. So we've got AI coaches designed to help people overcome personal vices or navigate grief. So why not have a personal AI Jesus?
Is this more like really like having a priest rather than actually having a deity or something in your
Well,
pocket?
yeah,
Like having a
what,
prophet,
yeah,
prophet in your pocket.
well, I mean, that's a great app, isn't it? Profit in your pocket. I'm surprised no one's picked that one up. So
I'm
there's
just
unique.
registering it as a company at the moment.
So there's a unique psychological safety in talking to a machine. You can be your rawest, messiest self without the fear of being judged by a human. It's a version of spiritual intimacy. If an AI can help you practice kindness, stay disciplined, or find 5 minutes of peace in your chaotic day, isn't that what faith is supposed to do? So, what is wrong with that? The AI obviously cannot pray for you in the traditional sense. Cameron Park, he's an engineer in AI. He said the AI is not alive, it's a tool. And as you then went on to say, Shelley, it's not a deity. So the real magic isn't in the code, it's in the intentionality behind it. So the article then goes on to say what we are now seeing is magisterium AI, which sifts through centuries of complex law to provide clarity. Another bot, this is a Buddhist priest bot called Imai Jaido. They raised with values much like a child to ensure it saves humanity. So they're raising this bot like a child, and they are educating it in Buddhist ways to grow into the all-knowing, all-seeing Buddha.
This sounds like asking for trouble, actually, doesn't it? Like, everyone's always going, oh, I hope AI doesn't take over the world. But if you're actually going to convince some AI that it's a god, I mean, that's going beyond Skynet. Like, Skynet didn't think that it was a god, did it?
So the critics are saying that AI is effectively taking the effort out of spirituality, that you can't reach the summit via an app. And there's a lot to be said for that. But I guess not everyone is ready for the summit. Some of us are just trying to get out of the valley. If technology can bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and a modern lonely world, if it can offer a word of hope to someone who has none, then it's more than just a religious tech boom. It's a testament to the human spirit's ability to use every tool at its disposal to find meaning. The conclusion is in the article, let's not look at Buddharoid, which is another one, or an AI avatar as just a machine. Let's see it as a mirror. Let's see it as a lamp. See it as a tool that, when used with heart, can help us become a little more human. But as you say, Shelley, that does sound terrifying, doesn't it?
It's just made my mood ring seem really shit, though. Like,
well, I think the good news is, like, if someone's searching for, something spiritual, or they're looking for ways to be kind and so on, then they can access a Buddha bot and learn about Buddhism and how to improve their life and how to be calmer and so on, without having to necessarily commit to a whole religion.
did you say one was called Buddharoid?
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
I mean, like, oh, that sounds
Buddharoid.
painful.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to pass a Buddharoid.
And for instance, if you've got 2,000 years of the King James Bible uploaded, if you've got any questions you want to talk about around the Bible or ways to live, then you can have an online chat with that particular deity to get advice without necessarily having to go to the church or join a group or join a religion. So I think there is a lot of positivity in that, but also on the flip side,
terrifying.
All
right, good. Thank you, Stu. And look, we'll pick up after this chat and see who's in on Profit in Your Pocket and how we launch that. Okay, right. Quick check-in time. Last week, off the back of our big phones are basically slot machines with better branding conversation, we all agreed to try one simple experiment. No phones for the first half hour after waking up. No phones for the last half hour before sleep, and no phones at meal time. So I had to check in, see how we've done, and I'll go first. And I'll be honest, meal times pretty good. Before bed also pretty good. First half hour in the morning, yeah, maybe not quite so great. I've discovered my phone is actually such a strong part of my morning routine that I can only get through about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'm reaching for the little rectangular attention stealing bastard. It's like muscle memory, but for doom scrolling. So go on, who smashed it and who's been utterly defeated by their own brain?
Oh,
Epic fail over here.
Epic fail, epic
Yeah.
fail.
epic
Anyone
fail.
had a genuine win, or have we all just quietly failed together?
I quite like, what was that you posted the other day, Shelley, where you said you hadn't been using your phone and then you took a picture of something with your phone.
Which I also used my phone to
To
post.
send us, yeah.
What was that
like,
again? Was it a tree?
These lovely trees. There was like a really lovely like blossom, and then this other tree, and the colours were. And I saw it on my way to work because I was looking up and around instead of. Well, I always look where I'm going on my way to work, but I just didn't look at the trees before. But I wasn't listening. I wasn't on my
Yeah.
phone.
Well,
until-
that is actually something, though, isn't it? Because if you hadn't have thought about this or gone on this experiment, you probably wouldn't have had a look at the lovely tree. So
I might have seen it though, because I mean, normally I'm using my phone by listening to something. I'm either listening to music or a podcast or something like that, but I wasn't listening to anything. That was the only difference.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I haven't used social media in that time. If I've gone on in the morning, it's to have a look at some news or something like that. But so I'm not giving up. I'm just
I'm giving up.
really, I'm just realising it's going to be a long, undignified war against this bloody developer. But yeah, are we going to stick at it?
Yeah,
Or we want to change
I'm
the
going to
rules at all?
retry.
yeah. Well, I think meal times are easy. I've never liked it at meal times. I don't like it when people get their phones out at meal times. They get quite grumpy. But
Yeah, I don't use my phone.
but the morning thing's hard. Definitely. Because you get a coffee, don't you? And you have a look at the news.
Yeah.
So that's the tough one.
Yeah. Gemma, how about you? Any
Um,
wins?
I'm the same. Meal times is easy to avoid it, but
How about before bed? Have you managed that at all?
no,
No.
I'm afraid not.
Oh.
I know. I think I need to be one of those people who leaves it in another room.
Yeah, well, that's when it's
Break
worked
planner.
best for me, is when
Yeah.
it's just not there. All right, well, let's stick at it. Let's have another week, see how we do.
Must try
While
hard.
we're recapping on things from last time, Shelley, has Samba, the escaped capybara, been reunited with her sister Tango yet?
No, not as yet. Not when I last checked, but some capybara Banksy style street art has been popping up around Hampshire.
Oh, classy.
Yeah, yeah, it's as one. I think I'm trying to remember if this is the right way around. If it was Southampton or Portsmouth first. I think it appeared in Southampton first on the side of a pub, and then about a week later, another one appeared on a bar in Portsmouth. But I think it's not. It's a street artist, a local street artist, I think, called Pidgey, who's been doing it. But yeah, they're pretty cute. So yeah, Hampshire's really claiming the capybara as its like mascot animal, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't Banksy, I hoped it was going to be one of those like not Banksy or not Banksy or I can't believe it's not Banksy. Stu Fellows, all these guys.
Yeah, I think it is actually not Banksy, but very much
That's what
Banksy
they all
style.
say. All right, thanks, Shirley. Well, we'll keep coming back to that until Samba's bound or dies, or until we get bored with the story, whatever comes first. Let's keep the updates on stories we've covered previously coming, shall we? It's that bit you've all been looking forward to. It's Ocean Update time.
Yeah, it's been a while. We haven't had one of these for quite a few weeks, so hit it.
No, well, regular listeners will know we've been following the High Seas Treaty for a while now. We've had the whole arc, we've had excitement, hope, shouting, waiting, more waiting, mild despair, cautious optimism, more waiting. It's a bit like trying to get a GP appointment, but obviously wetter. Now, you might be aware the UK government did say that they'd ratify it before it came into force, and ministers pointed towards the end of 2025. You might also be aware that it is now not 2025. So, do we think they have now ratified the treaty?
Well, I think there's been a lot on, isn't there? AI Jesus and war. They probably ain't got round to it. That's what I'm thinking.
You're quite right, Stu. Of course they haven't. Now, I don't want to say the government lied to us, but they have indisputably failed to deliver. So, how shocked are we on a scale of 1 to absolutely not at all?
One.
Oh, you got up to a 1. Good. Gemma?
Not
No,
so
none at all.
great.
None at all. Okay. Before we go full cynical, credit where it's due. Some big shout outs to Armenia, who ratified the treaty in February, and to Austria and the Dominican Republic, who both ratified in March, taking total ratifications now to 88. That's Austria, by the way, who doesn't even have a coastline, who's ratified a treaty to protect the high seas. Meanwhile, the UK, which is basically 90% coastline and alleged ruler of the waves, has not. So, impressive on Austria's part, embarrassing on the UK's. I don't know. But there is some genuinely encouraging news this week from the United Nations Environment Programme. They say that 10.01% of the world's oceans are now officially protected. And that's up from 8.6% in 2024. It's about 5 million square kilometres of ocean, newly protected in the last 2 years. So for scale, that's larger than the entire European Union. Credit where it's due. The world's actually done a thing.
That's good news. It's good news. The water's protected. 10%.
10.01%, Stu. An oddly specific figure, but there we are. There is, however, I'm afraid, a snag.
Oh.
I know, right? Because declaring an area protected and then actually protecting it, they're slightly different things. And investigations by a group like Oceana show that industrial trawlers are still operating in UK marine protected areas, bottom trawling, dragging huge nets across the seabed. So it's kind of like declaring an area of woodland protected and then having a lumberjack training session there. What worries me a bit is whether protected just starts to feel like optimistic labeling, like in the 90s when Yorkies were advertised as being not for girls, and yet somehow women continue to buy, eat, and enjoy them because marketing isn't actually law. So just to keep the reality check going here too, under the agreement struck by the United Nations Biodiversity Conference, COP15, countries committed to protecting 30% of land and sea by 2030. And we're at 10.01%. To hit 30%, we need to protect an area roughly the size of the Indian Ocean in the next 4 years. And I worry that might be ambitious in the same way that my gym membership is aspirational. I think it's one of those two things are true stories. It's genuinely good that the world's protecting more ocean. That matters. That's great. It's progress. But also until protection actually means stop damaging that bit, it's hard to throw a full parade. And if the UK government fancies actually doing what they said they would do and ratify the treaty they've said they'd support, that'd be a great start too, wouldn't it? Now, if you're looking at the state of the oceans and the UK government and the world as a whole and you're thinking, nah, not for me, I'd rather go and learn poetry and solar panels in the desert instead, then this story is for you. Stu, where are we going with this one?
This is about Mars College, which is in California, of course. And they say that we've all been sold a lie about when you go to university. On average, it costs about, these days, £50,000 a year just to get a PDF that says you're smart. But as tuition fees rocket and AI begins to outperform the average graduate, they've come up with the Mars College. Tuition is your presence. There are no grades because there is no one to impress but your peers. So when you remove the threat of failure, the debt, parental expectation, you don't get laziness. Do you know what you get? Do you know what you get, Jim?
No, I'm not sure, Stu. What do you get? Let me think about it.
Ira Birch.
I was just about to say Ira Birch.
Ira Birch. She's a poet in this article who said she's sharing her soul to a circle of strangers. You get vibe coding lessons. You get knot theory lessons taught by people who are there because they are obsessed, not because they have to be. This is a shift from education as an asset to learning as an instinct. So have you heard of the Burning Man ethos? Do you know the Burning Man festival they have
I've
on the...
heard of the Burning Man festival, but not as an ethos.
So this comes from the Burning Man festival, where they set up a community, don't they, for a period of time, and everybody lives and works over the festival, each person getting food for each other, creating fire, and so on and so forth. So the Mars College is a windswept plot in the middle of California desert. It's 200 miles from LA, and it's 40 miles from the nearest grocery store. So the students sit in a small room constructed from plywood boards and metal frames. Temporary structure which is built a few months prior to the start of the college. So the classes are taught by anyone who has something to teach, ranging from the writer's workshop to the mathematical theory of shapes to the proper way to install solar panels, AI-inspired art. All classes are held within a cluster of plywood and metal structures, and the semester goes from January to April. What they say in this college is, in the modern world, we are connected but helpless. So if the power grid blinks, we can't cook. If the grocery store closes, we starve. At Mars, the students learn the mathematical theory of shapes in the morning, and then how to wire a solar array in the afternoon, whilst preparing food and shelter for the afternoon. So saying it isn't prepping for the end of the world, it's practicing for a better one. It proves that humans are at our most creative when we are at our most precarious. So when you have to drive your own water and haul your own trash out, you don't take the goods from far away for granted. You become an active participant in your own survival. There's a lot of fear that IA will turn our brains into slop, but at Mars, they're doing something vital. They call it sniffing the slop. That's their mantra, sniffing the slop. While traditional universities are busy banning ChatGPT, Mars is using AI agents to manage communal kitchens and generate brain-broken art. They are treating AI like the desert wind. It's a force of nature you have to learn to navigate. By merging ancient technology with modern technology, they are ensuring that the future isn't just a cold algorithm, but a human-directed one. In a few weeks' time, Mars College will do something no traditional university would ever dare. They tear it all down. They will dismantle the plywood, auditoriums, pack up the solar panels, and leave the desert exactly the way they found it. Why is this positive? Mars says because it proves that college isn't a place and it isn't a building. It's a state of arrival, because they're going to do it all again next year. It's the realization that we don't need money to find meaning. We just need a circle of weather-beaten couches, a shared goal, and the courage to say, I told myself I was going to share today. So it sounds very much counterculture, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Very much sort of along the sort of the hippie ideals of the 1960s. But I quite like the way they're saying we're not just going to run away from AI and technology. We're going to embrace it, but we're also going to embrace traditional skills as well, and not be run by the algorithm, which is kind of feeding into what you sort of said earlier, isn't it? What do you think? Would you go to that sort of college? Would you be up for
I
that?
like the thought of it. I do
Yeah.
like the thought of it.
I mean, I was reading the article and seeing the pictures. Look tough, because you're in these corrugated sort of buildings. Get your own water. It's tough out there.
But probably a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
don't know. Do
useful
they
life
have
lessons, isn't it?
scorpions in the
Probably
California
scorpions,
desert?
perhaps a lot of life lessons, finding out about yourself and, the power of the group as well, isn't it? The power of the group. When you're stuck out in the desert as well, you have to navigate relationships, don't you? And there'll always be people who want to take charge, and people who always want to disrupt. So it's all about learning to and study in quite extreme conditions. So I think it's an interesting experiment, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Fantastic for that, Stu. Now, while some people seek education in the desert, others seek simpler pleasures in maybe less hot, but still sunny places. Gemma, tell us what you found out.
I was holding my breath then, like, I don't know why.
So, spring has finally arrived. The daffodils are out, the jackets are getting lighter, and across the UK, there's a collective hopeful whisper. Is it beer garden season? And today's story is all about someone who decided that yes, it is absolutely should be. Picture this. Last April, architect Mo Daywood was wandering through London on one of those days where the sun is out but playing hide and seek behind buildings. He fancied a nice coffee in the sunshine, not in the chilly shadow of a 5-story building, and realised there was no easy way to know which cafes or pubs were actually basking in the light. So he went home and built away, usually using publicly available data, building heights, footprints, and the angle of the sun. Mo created a little map that showed which spots were currently sun-soaked and which ones were in shade. A personal hack. He shared it online, thinking a few people might find it handy. Instead, the internet said, "Mate, this is genius." The tool went viral overnight. Within days, it became a full app, and within 4 days of launch, it hit #1 in the UK lifestyle charts, all because one man wanted a sunny seat for his drink. Since then, Sunseeker has grown to over 250,000 users, expanded into Germany and Spain, and even caught the attention of brands. Aperol used it last summer to help people find the perfect sunny spot for an Aperol spritz, because of course they did. But here's where it gets really fun for us, the spring-ready, pint-seeking public. Most spent the winter rebuilding the app from scratch. Now venues can upload photos, map their outdoor areas, and boost their visibility. Users can get alerts when their favourite pub garden is suddenly bathed in sunshine, and the app uses a simple emoji system, a sun for bright spots, a moon for shade, so you can make snap decisions like a seasoned sun chaser. And this is the part I love. Sunseeker now is asking the community to help map more pubs, cafes, and outdoor spaces, because no one, not even the most dedicated architect turned app founder, can personally map every beer garden in Britain. But we can, one sunny pint at a time. So as spring settles in and the promise of warm afternoons becomes real again, this is your invitation to get out there. Explore your local spots, discover a new favourite cafe that gets the perfect 4 p.m. glow, support the pubs that make your neighbourhood feel alive, and if you find a hidden gem with a cracking sun trap, add it to the map. Someone else will thank you for it. What started as one man's sunny seat quest has become a community project, a celebration of local businesses, and a nationwide treasure hunt for the best places to soak up the rays. So here's to sunshine, to spring, to the Great British Beer Garden, and to the apps that help us make the most of every golden hour. If you're listening from a sunlit table right now, cheers to you. You're living the dream.
I think I'm going to spend all day at a pub tracking which way the sun goes around the garden.
Yeah.
This was a real thing for me last summer. I was meeting people at like in my lunch break and just craving sunshine, and wherever we ended up, we seemed to get a shady spot. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm in for this one.
It's not just enjoying yourself, it's your civic duty.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
we've all been told how our pubs, etc., the hospitality industry, that's the phrase I was desperately trying to grasp.
But all you could think of was pub.
Yeah, that's exactly it, because that is how I want it. That is all it means. How they're suffering and they need our support. And this helps make it a little bit more fun.
What's the app called again?
Sunseeker. Seeker spell like the seeker bit, SEEK, but no E after the K.
Please remember to use apps responsibly. All right, let's have a bit of a change of pace now. Shelley, you've got some news for us on some potential new treatments for osteoarthritis, I believe.
Yeah. I think this ended up sort of being like soft listening again. My phone was like, you'll be interested in this, because I just recently got diagnosed with arthritis. Yeah, so I was like, probably been moaning about it, and my phone was like, don't worry, there's some good news about arthritis going on at the moment. This is osteoarthritis, which is not an uncommon condition, but it can have quite a big impact on the lives of people in many ways, because it is very painful and does make getting on with things sometimes quite difficult. There is also rheumatoid arthritis as well, which is very, very painful and miserable as well in itself. But I mean, I'm sort of looking at here for like osteoarthritis, there isn't really lots of medical interventions. It is more like a surgical intervention in the end. Rheumatoid arthritis does have the more medical side of things because it's like an autoimmune condition, but don't get me wrong though, that it is far from easy. Like that treatment is like kind of like having chemo. So probably if I had to pick an arthritis, I would stick with osteoarthritis, please.
Well,
But yeah,
if you had to pick one, Jim, which one would you pick?
Oh, blimey.
Hmm.
I don't know enough about the selection, really.
Yeah.
Can I see a menu?
Yeah.
would you like to see a full menu of symptoms?
What's on the specials board, Shelley? No, it's not a topic I know enough about to say.
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, at the moment, I would say mine's quite mild. The worst thing is, though, is being able to hear my knees when I go upstairs. That is horrible. Like that is, it really makes me feel really. Ugh. And yeah, so I've only got it in my knees and my hip at the moment.
Oh.
So a lot of the advice
What
is
noise do they make, Shelley?
like a cracking kind of
Oh.
scraping noise.
Oh.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
not a
feel it
nice
as
sound, is it?
yeah, you can feel it as well. So if I put my hand on my leg, you won't hear it now, but
Yeah.
I can feel it all like kind of like a popping feeling. It's actually called crepitus, that
Oh.
condition is. So
Could you
yeah.
record some for us for next week?
Yeah, if you want
Yeah.
to hear that, I'll record it on the stairs, like
Yeah.
at work, because
Okay.
that's got there's really good acoustics.
Okay. All right.
It's a shame it doesn't make a noise like when they're sort of clown horn things.
What
They
like
go, "Arr, arr."
yeah, well, I don't think I'd mind. I think I'd be like, no, I'm going to live with this. I don't really want any treatment for this.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That'd be good, though, wouldn't
That would be amazing, wouldn't it? People would hear you coming.
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, so with medical interventions for it, I mean, the first line is always like lifestyle changes, exercise, because it, weight loss will really help because you put in less strain on your joints. And then also actually doing lots of exercise. If you're able to build muscle around your joints, then that does actually help protect the joint somewhat as well. I don't want to put people off doing that though, but it's interesting. When I was off sick from work, my knee pain and hip pain actually improved because I wasn't doing anything. So that's weird.
So basically, your
But
advice, we all feel much better if we don't have to go to work.
yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. If you're going down the weight loss route, though, they are using weight loss injections in people, and that, if people are having success on weight loss injections. So that's an indirect medical treatment, if you like. But then there's also like steroid treatments, but otherwise it is exercise physio, these kind of things as well. And then you'll end up getting to the surgical point where you actually have to have like a knee replacement, hip replacement, all of those kind of things. So which is, especially knee replacements, take ages to recover from, and the waiting list is incredible for them as well for the NHS. But there has been a little glimmer of hope. So there's nothing quite in line yet for that's actually sort of directly going out, but there's been some universities have been doing some research and actually managing to treat successfully arthritis symptoms in animals. So at Columbia University, there is a team. So this probably would end up being a little bit more surgical, actually, because you would have to use surgery to get this in. But they are using 3D printers. They're make like a kind of scaffolding that's made of like bone and cartilage. So that's almost like, they're kind of actually, that's something that can then go in and support the joint itself. So I would say probably that would end up being less invasive than having a full joint replacement. So that's quite an interesting one. And then there is a team at Duke University, and then another one at University Colorado Boulder, and they're both developing injectable treatments at the moment. One of them is kind of like a slow release medication that goes into the joints and sort of like helps the tissue repair itself. It was like a kind of injectable plasma, so it takes a while, but eventually your cartilage tissue is going to start regrowing, because this is a lot of the problem with arthritis, is that once you've worn that away, it's not coming back again. Yeah, so this was about some regrowth. And then there was another one that was kind of quite similar as well. That was actually using proteins that are injected into the damaged areas, and then they also triggered regrowth. And with some of those ones, like I think in some of the animals, they found that there was cell regrowth actually within just a few months. Brilliant news for Labradors, though, isn't it? Because they get bad arthritis, don't they?
I do.
Yeah, yeah. And also, in maybe in 10 years' time, when my knees are so loud that I have to wear ear protectors, I might not have to have surgery. You never know.
Well, fingers crossed on that one. And so, I just want to pick up on something you mentioned earlier, talk about recapping on previous things. Did you happen to say you had a mood ring?
Yeah, well, Gemma and I are now both the proud owners of a 90s style mood ring. So, it's gone purple now.
What does that mean, Shelley?
Oh, well, let me get the menu.
I'm intrigued by this idea. You have no idea what your own mood is, and you need a ring to tell you, and a little instruction
I need the
leaflet.
mood menu.
Otherwise, I have no idea what mood I'm in.
Oh, actually, it's meant to be royal blue. Okay, so royal blue is well, oh my. Well, I wasn't feeling like this until you spoke to me, Jim. Passionate, love, romantic.
Oh, I say. Good.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Because
if anyone saw this coming.
Yeah, before it was just like green, which was fresh, amused, active.
Fresh.
Yeah. And so it was green for ages, but now it has gone really. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, yeah.
No, it doesn't look the right colour in this light.
Jim, your old dog. You said you said you're struggling with your back and your age, but you still got it.
Well, there's Jim with his back, me with my knees.
Mm.
It's obviously meant to be.
And Gemma, you've got a mood ring on its way to you as well, have you?
Yeah, look, here you go, Gemma. It's packaged up, ready, waiting for
what mood am I in at the moment? What's it telling?
You are.
Do you not have to be wearing it for it to know? Or?
Whoa!
It knows. So you are. Oh, you're like half orange and half green.
Okay.
So you are a little bit aggressive, irritated, and impatient, but then you're also feeling fresh, amused, and active.
That's quite a lot of emotions there.
There's a lot going on, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it needs you. I think that's the problem.
I think it knows me. It's there. It's on the money, even several hundred miles away.
That's a hamper of emotions.
Nowhere in there was generosity. Is neither of you generosity? I was hoping to use it as a nice link into the next section. I'm just going to have to say we're going to talk about a generosity experiment now.
Well, is Shelley, is there a bit on the menu about generosity?
No, I mean, this is clearly the mood ring of the more selfish
person. Well, we'll just leave this as one of those sort of really awkward and stilted things. So Gemma, over to you next.
A question most of us don't really expect to answer. How far would you go to help someone you'll never meet?
10 miles.
10 miles. Oh, that far.
Yeah.
Any
No, I wouldn't go that far. No.
Well, I don't want to go too far, but 10 miles is all right.
Hang on, how are we covering these 10 miles? Because,
driving in my car.
No. For one man, the answer was pretty far, as in donate a kidney to a stranger far. Back in 2012, a 25-year-old named Tom Cledwin read about the UK's first altruistic kidney donor, Kay Mason. And instead of filing that away under incredible things other people do, he thought, well, why not me? A year of medical and psychological checks later, he went through with it. He woke up from the surgery feeling something he still struggles to put into words, a kind of grounded pride, a sense of meaning, the quiet joy of doing something that mattered. And that feeling didn't fade. It shaped everything that came next. After the donation, Tom started a blog called The Free Help Guy. where he anonymously offered help to strangers, moving house, fixing things, whatever people needed. Demand grew faster than his bank account could keep up with. Life took him into a senior role in media for a while, but the pull towards generosity never really left. Fast forward to today, and Tom, alongside co-founder John Sweeney, has launched something extraordinary, Drop Dead Generous, a global social experiment backed by an anonymous philanthropist. The idea is beautifully simple. Give 1,000 people a $500 grant each, that's $500,000 total, and ask them to use it to help someone else in a way that's imaginative, heartfelt, and maybe even a little surprising. And the results? They're already spreading a joy across the world. So far, 324 grants have been allocated in 21 countries, and the creativity is off the charts. In Brazil, one grant launched a prison book club where inmates can reduce their sentences by reading and writing about literature, a real program that's been shown to improve rehabilitation outcomes. In another Brazilian community, two young chess players from a favela, every damn time there's a word I don't know how to say.
How'd you spell it?
Favela, favela, favela,
Favela.
Fella, fella,
favela,
favela, favela,
Nowhere else in Brazil.
favela.
Two young chess players used their grant to travel to national competitions, secure coaching, and actually win, opening doors that had previously been closed. In Uganda, a $500 grant built a communal dance floor, not a metaphorical one, a real physical space where young people gather to dance. In the UK, one grant gave an undiscovered busker the chance to record a professional demo. Another brought a Shetland pony into a care home, coaxing residents out of their rooms with the kind of joy only a tiny fluffy horse can deliver. What's striking is that Tom doesn't pretend generosity is some pure saintly thing. He knows people feel good when they give, and he thinks that's part of the magic. The point isn't to erase the warm glow, it's to harness it, to make generosity feel like a superpower rather than a soft optional extra. And now the project is experimenting with something even more radical, letting previous recipients choose who gets funded next, a generosity relay, a kindness cascade, a world where giving isn't centralised, it's contagious. Tom's invitation is simple. If you've got an idea that could blow someone's socks off, something imaginative, something kind, go to the Drop Dead Generous website and submit it. Because sometimes all it takes is a $500 and a bit of trust to turn a good intention into a life-changing moment.
Would you give your kidney away? I would.
I would probably not give my kidney away at the moment. Maybe the lobe off my liver, because I think it grows back again,
Yeah.
like an earthworm.
I-
You take a bit off and it'll grow back.
Now, we started the show talking about the kind of men who think strength looks like shouting and threatening people and bombing countries and generally carrying on like emotional toddlers with access to state infrastructure. That whole very tiring performance of masculinity where the message is basically, fear me for I am deeply unwell and have access to a podium. The thing is, for all the noise those men make, this is not actually what being a decent man looks like. She looks a lot smaller than that. Less chest beating, less geopolitical cosplay. It's just being kind, doing the right thing when nobody's making a fuss about it. Most of the genuinely good men in the world are not trying to look powerful. Don't know if you remember right back when we did our first men's health special, June last year?
Mhm.
We talked about what being an alpha male really means and how we should take back the idea of an alpha from the man babies and make it about those people who make life a bit better for somebody else. I think that's more impressive
All for that.
than an idiot threatening to flatten a country because his feelings got hurt when he didn't get a proper peace prize. With that in mind, Shelley's got a story that is a much better example of what actual human decency looks like.
Yeah, can I ask you a manly question,
Mhm.
I don't know
actually?
if you're asking the right people, but go on.
Yeah. I mean, I'll start with you, Jim, because you have a daughter. So, are you able to braid and style her hair? Or she probably won't want you to now, but when she was younger.
I was quite bad at this when she was younger. I could do the basic sort of ponytails, pigtails, stuff like that. Plaiting, braiding, I could never wrap my head around it.
Okay. And like Stu,
Mm.
have you ever had to say style a little girl's hair at all?
No, I haven't. No,
Yeah. Do you think you could plait hair?
I'd give it a go. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean,
Yeah.
I,
So
I
so
don't think
like
it'd be very good.
no, so I mean the reason that I was asking is just to sort of see because it wasn't really to catch you out or anything. It's actually quite sort of standard that most men don't know
Yeah,
how to do any of this stuff.
yeah, I'd
It
agree
is a
with that.
skill that most of you lack. So, but there is a fix to this. So there
Okay.
has now been beer and braiding events that have been popping up around in different places. There are actually images from one on BBC News of an event in London in a pub. So it was the images from it's like a big table of dads sitting there, and they've all got a mannequin head each in front of them.
Oh, right.
And they're surrounded by hairbrushes, hair accessories, and products, and they are actually being taught how to style hair by a hairstylist. So, I mean, despite some progress with men taking on more domestic tasks and handing and sort of hands-on parenting in the home, it frequently still falls to the mother to get the daughter ready. And I think this is seen as sort of a bonding opportunity that men are actually missing out on. Um, so this organization, this was actually co-founded by two dads, Matthew Carter and Lawrence Price, and it has become so popular that tickets sell out in minutes. There was actually a viral video of it, of like that drew criticism from cartoon villain Andrew Tate. Surprise, surprise. But I'm not going to bother saying about what he said about it because who really gives a crap? I don't think anyone cares what he had
We
to
don't care
say.
what that man says about anything.
Yeah.
It's another thing though that takes this sort of beer to get men there. I remember when my daughter was young, and my other half would take her to various children's playthings with other parents, but there was a dad one, specifically dad's one, and for that there was bacon butties and stuff. It's a thing of unless you bribe dads, they're not coming.
But I think maybe this is what mums needed though, because I mean, Gemma, like with us being a similar age and having like, being young in the 80s, do you remember having your hair done by your mum as being a nice bonding experience?
Ooh, no.
No, definitely not. I mean,
Your
my
mum was a
mum,
hairdresser.
yeah.
I know my mother was a hairdresser. I'm still traumatized by having my hair washed as a child and thinking I was going to drown.
I don't know if your mum was your mum like typical 80s mum who did everything with a cigarette hanging out of her mouth.
And no, she didn't have that particular accessory,
I
but
mean,
she did. It did seem like she had a desire to kill me one like
with it's
strand of hair at a
amazing how
time.
much pain can be inflicted with a hairbrush. Like my mum used to like brush my hair, my face, my scalp, my brain. Oh my goodness. And then if I was like moving or said ow, then the hairbrush would be flipped to the flat side to be used as a weapon against you. I mean, fortunately, that kind of thing is illegal now. So hopefully it is a slightly better experience. But perhaps if mums had been taught to braid hair with a nice glass of wine, maybe,
Maybe things would have been
maybe
different for us.
there would be less traumatized daughters. And it's actually making me think, and no, this is safe. I think if like my dad had been taught to do hair with a beer, I would have wanted my dad to do my hair. Definitely. But anyway, apart from though just the actual practicality of learning to do hair, it's actually more the social side of it as well, and the benefits that men are finding to actually have that opportunity to get together and talk openly as well about being a parent and other issues as well. So actually finding it's having quite a positive impact on their mental health, but it is also like helping men to be seen as good role models in the eyes of boys and other young men as well. So, yeah, I think it's just a good way to start setting a standard. It is caring, it is being an alpha male because you are caring for your little pack.
Absolutely. Right, that's about all we've got time for this week. We've covered a lot. We've had good news. We've had strange news. We've had the kind of stories that make you feel slightly better about the world. And then we've had whatever the hell is going on with Donald Trump. Not Jesus, not a doctor, just there. I think if there's a takeaway from this week, it's this. The world's still turning, people are still doing good things, progress is still happening, and somehow, despite everything, we're all still here. Under the circumstances, I think that's quite an achievement. So if the news has felt overwhelming this week, just remember, not everything's broken, not everyone's shouting, and not every global decision is made by a man who looks at a picture of himself as Jesus and thinks, oh yeah, a doctor. If you've enjoyed the show, do all the usual things. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Or if you're trying to cut down on your screen time, like we talked about earlier, just shout about it loudly in the street and hope for the best. This has been Everything's Fine, Probably. I've been Jim with Gemma, Shelley and Stuart. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, try to stay informed, try to stay sane, unless you're Donald Trump, in which case, whoops, too late. Maybe for you, just try and stay away from religious iconography and anything involving basic visual identification. And look, if anyone in a position of power starts glowing and talking about salvation, maybe double check what they think their job is. Good night.